and welcome to the tutorial for the Abstract Forest Easy mini album. If you haven't seen the actual album itself, I will link in the description box below the walkthrough so you can kind of see what it is that we're doing. And I will also link it somewhere up here so you can go check that out. I'm going to quickly go over the supplies that we'll need and then we'll get rolling. So we need, of course, our scoreboard and our paper trimmer, score tape, and or some wet adhesive. I've just got some Elmer's glue in an old bottle. That's all it is, super simple. You'll need some scissors and some disc magnets. You'll need about 18 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm using an 80-pound weight. A Tyvek envelope. If you don't have Tyvek, if it's too hard to find where you are, then you can do it without Tyvek and just use duct tape or just more cardstock, but I do find that Tyvek works best. And a couple pieces of chipboard for the cover. And then whatever paper collection you would like to use. I am going to combine the Minte Woodland collection, which is quite beautiful. But I wanted to have some of my own papers as well, as I like to do. So I kind of went through the Minte papers and chose some colors I liked, and I made a whole bunch of acrylic pours on cardstock. And I made papers out of them. So this is what I came up with. So these, I scanned all the pieces that I made and then went and printed them out. So I've printed them all on 8.5 by 11. Love this one, it's one of my faves. And then I also got them printed 2 to a page so that they are about 8 by 5 or so. You could also get them 4 to a page and have them even smaller. So any printer would be able to do that. So there are about 40 different patterns. And I'm just showing you some of them. I'm not going to show you all 40, but there are a lot of them. And they kind of go with the color scheme and everything of the Woodland collection. I'm calling mine the Abstract Forest, and the whole digital collection of these will be available in my Etsy shop if you'd like to get these and work along with me in the same way that I create this album. Okay, so I'm gonna get all my stuff out of the way and then we'll get started. This is a really easy album to put together. There is only an A and a B to each page. Most of my large albums go all the way up to like KLM sometimes. So there's a lot of pieces. I'm keeping it real simple and there's only a few pieces per page. So to create the base pages, we need 6 pieces that are 6 1/4 by 8 1/2, okay? And then we are going to score each of them at half on the 8 1/2 inch side. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to all 8, half on the 8 1/2 inch side. My boyfriend Ian, he always makes fun of me because I never do anything simply. I always go above and beyond and a little crazy. So he challenged me to create an album that only had an A and a B for each page. So I showed him. Okay, so once you have all of those done, now you can use both score tape and wet adhesive or just one or the other, completely up to you. So I am going to miter all of my corners, taking off just a little bit at an angle from each one. I'm just doing 2 at a time here just to save a bit of time. And then I'm going to crease them all. Just using my bone folder to crease them all. And then we're going to put them back to back to create our base pages. So when we're folding, we are folding away from that indent. Okay? So look at the indented side, and we're folding away. I'm sorry if you can hear my fan going, but it is hot. and I just feel like I'm gonna die in the heat, so I'm definitely keeping the fan on. So I'm just going to put these together. So I've got one like this and one like this. Gonna put a little line of glue across each one and then just smush them together. Line them up, smush them down. Line them up, smush them down. Okay, that's it. That's your first base page. So we'll do that to all 3. The main reason that I usually use score tape as well is because I'm impatient. I might end up doing it. I don't know if I can wait for this to dry. Okay, I'm putting a little bit of score tape on each one just because I don't think I have the patience to wait for glue to dry. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to put a little bit of score tape and the wet adhesive. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the other 2 sets. Just going to remove the score tape backing, add a little bit of wet adhesive, and then smush them together. Okay, so you'll form something that looks like that. So you'll get 3 of those. Okay, so there are our 3 base pages. Perfect. So set those aside for a second and cut your 2 pieces for the first page. So the first page is going to look like this. Going to open like that, and then there's a magnet and it opens like that and like that. This one will measure 6 by 5 3/4, and then your B will measure 9 1/2 by 4. Okay, get your scoreboard. And we're going to score at, get out of the way. The A will be put into the scoreboard on the 5 3/4 inch side, and we're going to score at half. Okay, and then the B piece, we are going to score at half on the 9 1/2 inch side. And then we're going to flip it over. Okay, so now it's going to be showing the mountain side, the raised edge of that 1/2 inch right there. and we're going to score again at 5.5. Okay, and that's all the scoring for page 1. Okay, so on the indented side, the valley side, add your score tape. Just to those 2 1/2-inch sections. And then miter the corners that have score tape. So just trim a little off each corner like that. And then fold and crease those score lines. So the 1/2-inch section we'll fold this way, and we flipped that piece over because we always want to fold away from that indent. So these are going to go opposite directions. Okay, you got this fold here and then this fold here. Okay, now grab one of those base pages with the openings side to side. Remove the tape backing from the A piece. Add a little bit of glue, and it is going to be adhered to the left edge of the base, centered up and down. You can measure if you like, I just eyeball it. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, and now your B piece is going to adhere to the right edge of the base. Also centered top to bottom. Just like that. There is your page 1. Now we just need to add a couple magnets. You can either have a swing tab here or a magnet. I'm going to put a magnet from the back of this, from the back of the B to the front of the A. So I'm adding just a tiny bit of score tape. Placing 2 magnets magnetized together on that bit of score tape. And just another little piece on top. Close it up. And there you go. You could put the little bit of score tape over top of the magnets so that they stay put where you want them to stay. Okay, and that is page 1. Set that aside for a second and cut your pieces for page 2. Okay, so page 2 just lifts up like that and then lifts up again, and then down here is a pocket. Your A piece is 11 inches by 6 1/4. Your B piece, 7 1/4 by 4. This is all in inches. I don't know if I mentioned that. Okay, get your scoreboard again. We are going to score A on the 11-inch side. We're going to score it at 1/2, 5/8, and 6 7/8, all on the 11-inch side. Okay, so that's that one. Your B piece, we're going to score at 1/2 on the 4-inch side. And then we're going to rotate it so that 1/2 inch is now at the bottom, and we're going to score again at 1/2 and 6 3/4. Okay, so that's going to form a pocket. Now we're going to put score tape on all those 1/2 inch sections. And some score tape just on the one line up here. Miter the corners that have score tape. So on the one that has a double score line, just cut from the edge of that, the first score line, the 1/2 inch. I hope you can see that. Okay. On the pocket, we're going to cut all of the corners because they all have score tape. Where the score lines intersect, cut in at an angle and out at an angle. Like that, just a very, very, very subtle angle. You could cut straight across if you like. I just feel like this just gives a little bit better of a cut. Now we're going to fold and crease all of our pieces and put page 2 together. And we're just going to kind of go with this process for each page until they're all together. And then we will decorate. And then we'll make our cover and put it all together. Okay. So grab that first base page. There's the first page on the front. I'm going to flip it over. So piece A will adhere to the top of the base page. So remove the tape backing, a little bit of wet adhesive, and right at the top. Okay, and then your B piece is going to be a pocket down at the bottom of the base. So I like to remove my sides of the tape backing first and then press the bottom into it. So doing that, cutting in and out at an angle just lets these overlap just a tiny bit, just so it stays closed like that. And that way your pockets have a smooth transition into, or your tags have a smooth transition into the pocket. Okay, and then this goes down at the bottom. Now I've got 6 different page designs in here, but if you wanted to, you could just pick 2 of your favorites and just do those ones over and over and over again, or you could just do 4 of them. You could. There's so many variations on what you could do. So now we just need to add that one magnet here to here. So we want the magnet somewhere near the top of the back of A here. 2 magnets magnetized together, a little bit more score tape, and close her up. Perfect. Now put some score tape over top of those magnets so they don't accidentally come undone. Because they're strong and sometimes they just want to stick to each other. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Now we're going to get our pieces ready for page 3. So page 3 goes like this. So this opens to the side. This opens to the side, and then they both rotate all the way around like that to big space for photos there, and then they just magnetize back together like that. So that's page 3. So for this one, you just need 2 pieces, and they measure 11 by 4. Okay, that's it. Grab your scoreboard. We're going to score each of them at 6 1/4 on the 11-inch side. Okay, that's it. Alright, we're going to crease both of those. Okay, bring in your next base page. And now they are going to sit opposite each other like this. So we need a pen or a pokey tool or something just to find a placement. So I usually like hold my little tool there and kind of just swing it out of the way just to see where it lands. If you feel you need to like move a little bit just to make sure that it's, I want it so that the bottom, when it's turned out, that the bottom is even with the bottom of the page. So that looks pretty good. So when you have a good placement, you poke it through the piece itself and the base page. Okay, and now we do need 2 brads. I forgot to include the brads in my list of things that we need. Okay, and then just put a brad through the hole in both of those pieces of paper and open the tines on the inside of the page there. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with this top one going the opposite direction. So somewhere around the center, about a ½ an inch in. Okay, and then poke the hole all the way through. Put your brad in. We're going to have to remove the brads later to put pattern paper on, but we want these in place so we can put our magnets on and know that they are in the right spot. Okay, so you want these to fit within the top and the bottom of the base page and then touch in the middle but not be overlapping. Okay? So now we're going to kind of fold this back, or actually, you know what's easier is to actually flip it over and put a magnet on the back of these 2. Okay, so we're putting a set of magnets on each of those pieces of score tape. And flip it back over. So the 2 magnets are there. We're flipping it back over and then kind of like rotate these back into place, and when they're in the right place, let them adhere down. So now you got a magnet there and you've got a magnet there, which corresponds to the ones on the back side like that. Okay? And now I'm also going to put a magnet to close these parts. So here's another way to add a magnet. So say you want pattern paper here, but you don't want any pattern paper on this part. I'm going to put a piece of score tape like I would normally do to add a magnet. And I mean, most of you probably know this trick, but so I'm just going to put 1 magnet instead of 2 magnetized together. And then I'm going to open these up, and without putting any score tape first, I'm going to let them find their buddies. Put another little piece of score tape. And then close it up. Just like that. So now this part you don't have to put pattern paper on if you don't want to. So I'll just quickly cover all of these magnets with some score tape. I'm going to do the same with these ones here. And there's your page 3. Alright, moving right along. Page 4. Page 4 looks like a waterfall that would all flip up, but I wanted to do it slightly differently. So I wanted my waterfall to go out to the side, just for something a little bit different. Okay, so that's what we're about to do. So you will need your A piece is 6 3/4 by 8 inches, and then you'll need 5 pieces that are 4 1/2 by 6 3/4. Okay, so get those cut, and then bring in your scoreboard. We're going to score A at half on the 6 3/4 inch side. That's it for A. And then all 5 of the B pieces will be scored at half and 5/8 on the 6 3/4 inch side. So all 5 of them done the same way. Half and 5/8. The boys, Tundra and Zuri, my cats, they were happily in their new catio just a little while ago, but as soon as I started filming, I think it's very sweet that they come in and keep me company. They're both lying down, all fast asleep and cozy, just keeping Mama company. It's very nice. They're such good boys. There's Tundra. And there's Zuri. What you doing, buddy? Hi. You keeping Mama company? Yeah. They just kind of like to be wherever it is that I am, which I love. Okay, so putting score tape on the 1/2 inch section of all of the pieces, just like we've been doing. I'm gonna miter the corners of all of the pieces. So it's kind of like a assembly line, you know, where you do kind of the same steps for most of it. Okay, bring in your next base page, or sorry, the one you were just working on. So this is page 3 here, so flip it over. And A is going to adhere to the left edge of the base. Oh, we still have to, I missed an assembly line step. We still have to fold and crease all of these score lines. Silly goose. Okay, now we can put piece A on the left side of the base page. Okay, and now we're actually going to assemble our waterfall onto the front of the A. So your first one is going to go top left. Okay, so right up here. Okay, and then the next one is going to go on the right hand side, and you want there to be 3/4 of an inch of space between the bottom of this one and the bottom of this one. So you can measure if you so desire. Actually, you know what, it's probably a good idea. Let's just measure it. Okay, so I'm just going to measure 3/4 of an inch Okay, and I know it's going to be hard for you to see it, but there is a tiny little line there. Okay, and then we're just going to line this one up with that little mark that we made. So there's going to be 3/4 of an inch of space in between the bottom of each of them. Doesn't seem like 3/4 of an inch. Tiny bit off. That's alright. Okay, and then we're going to open this one up. And again, mark 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of this one. I'm just going to make a mark on both sides here. Okay, so this next one will go again on the left hand side. I've just turned it sideways because I find it easier to line up that way. But you can certainly do it this way. Okay, so this one's going to line up 3/4 of an inch underneath the last one. Okay, and then again measuring 3/4 of an inch from this bottom one. The next one will go onto the right side of the base. Or sorry, not that, I keep saying the base, the right side of A. How many of you were just yelling at me? Okay, and then the last one. Okay, so here's the last one. That's what it looks like when it's open. And then we close it up one at a time. Oh, I'm very crooked on one of them. Which one? Looks like this one. Yeah, this one's very crooked. Let's try that again. Okay, perfect. So that's that, and then this whole thing will open up. So we're first going to put a magnet on the back of the A to the base. Gosh, these magnets are sticking to everything. Okay, there we go. Put some score tape over those magnets. And then we'll just do one set at the top here. So just from the very top one to the second one down. Might keep the insides blank actually, so I'm going to take this off and just do what I did with the third page, I think, where we just put the one here. One magnet, and then let it find its buddy. Like that. Make sure it's straight. Okay, perfect. Now we can put some score tape over these. Fabulous. There is your page 4. So page 5 is going to look like this. This folds down and folds up and folds down. Same with this one. Up, down, up. And then you've got two pieces that go out to either side. Okay, so these are just accordion folds, but with see what I mean about these magnets? They just want to come apart. They want to be friends with each other so bad. All right, so the pieces you will need for that, your A, you'll need 2 of them. 2 A's that measure 6 1/4 by 5 1/2. 6 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, 2 of them. And then you'll need 2 B pieces that measure 6 1/4 by 11. Okay, grab your scoreboard. We are going to score each of the A pieces on the 5 1/2 inch side, and we're going to score at half. So each of them score at half on the 5 1/2 inch side. Okay, the 2 B pieces, we're going to score them on the 11 inch side. We're going to score at half, 5/8, and 7 7/8. And then we're going to flip it over. So the score lines are still in the same spots, they're just showing the mountain side now, the raised edge. And we are going to score again at 4 5/8. Okay, so it should look like this. So we've got 2 score lines here, 1 here, 1 here. Okay, so we're going to do that again with this piece. So half, 5/8, which is just the next tick over, and then 7 7/8, so the tick right before the 8 inch, and then flip it over and score at 4 5/8, so just past the 4 1/2. I'm never sure if people are familiar with inches or centimeters, so if you're used to centimeters, inches can be a little tricky, but that's how I feel about centimeters. I'm so used to working in inches that everything else boggles my brain. Alright, now we're going to put score tape on those 1/2 inch sections. I feel like it doesn't take much to boggle my brain lately though. I've been so crazy busy. Oh gosh. Summer is a crazy time in my life. Okay, so once we got the score tape on, we're going to miter the corners. Okay, get rid of those little bitties. Now crease and fold everything, remembering to fold away from the indented part. So this is going to fold like an accordion. Now we can start to put it together, so grab your last base page. And the 2 A pieces are going to adhere to the left and right of the base and be centered top to bottom. Alright, so there is that. And now these 2 pieces are going to go at the top and the bottom of the base. And they should meet up pretty perfectly in the center. Okay, so now for the magnets, I think I'm gonna have one magnet, like one kind of piece that sits on top, a decorative piece somehow that sits on top with magnets. So I'm going to, and I don't think these even need a magnet, they can just sit like that. But I do want them to magnetize to this. So I'm going to put a magnet on the top, like on each of these pieces, just so it's magnetized to this part. Score tape. If you don't want to use magnets though, there's other ways to close things, ribbon closure, or different latches, or swing tabs. Okay, so that's those two there. And now I think I'm also going to have, might have a, do I want a swing tab here? I might do a swing tab here and here. No, I like the magnets. I'm gonna stick with my original design and have magnets here. But feel free to do your own thing. Okay, and that is page 5. So for the last page, it is going to look like this. So it's going to open, side, side, up, and then this whole thing comes down. Okay? So we will need just the 2 pieces, an A and a B. So your A pieces, you'll need 2 A's, and they measure 5 3/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. And you'll need 2 B's, 2 B pieces, and they measure 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 square. Okay, grab your scoreboard again. And we are going to score at half on the 5 3/4 inch side. So half on the 5 3/4. And then the B pieces, we're just going to score at half on any side because it's a square, so it doesn't matter which side you have it in on. Just score it at half. Okay, scoreboard out of the way. Score tape on all of those. The hair in there is optional. Okay, what's next? Whoever said mitering, gold star. I'm such a nerd. Oh gosh, okay, and these ones also get mitered. It's just me and the cats in a room talking to a camera, so I gotta entertain myself somehow, right? Alright, now we fold and crease all of those score lines, and then we'll put it together. Alright. So grab that base page that we were just using, flip it over. So the A's are going to go at the top and the bottom of the base page. then we want the top over the bottom one, folding over top of the bottom one. Okay, like that. So the two A pieces will be adhering to the front of the bottom. The two B pieces will be adhering to the bottom A piece on the front, like so. Okay, so this is the bottom A with the two B's attached to either side, and then we're going to close the top one and then close these in. If you find any resistance at all, then you just trim a smidgen off the top A piece. I'm gonna like literally just cut not even 1/8 of an inch, just to give it a little bit more room to maneuver. Let's see how that is. Still a tiny bit. Like I'm trimming a minuscule amount just so these are smooth. There we go. So that's like nice and smooth as it folds over. Okay, so that's your page 6, and now we're just going to add magnets, or a magnet going from here to here. So one magnet there, let it find its buddy. And there we go. If you want, you could add one more magnet going from there to there, but it's completely up to you. I don't know if it really needs it. And I'm just going to cover up these two here. All right, and those are your 6 pages done already. Wasn't that quick? Okay, so you've got 6 different page designs now, with all the magnets attaching to each other. That won't happen once the pattern paper's on. Okay, so you've got your 6 page designs. Now we will work on the cover and the binding.